Hey, have you ever wondered how you make harmonized vocals like this? I'm Longest Solo Ever, and today we're going to talk about how to write vocal harmonies. Sometimes they call these duet sections in Friday Night Funkin' Songs, but the idea is we're going to be having two different melodies moving together, playing sort of the same thing, but in a way that sounds like a nice harmony. And we're going to start with the absolute most basic way of approaching this. First, we're going to turn on the C major scale in our note editor here. You can go over to Scale. It'll be set to C major by default. We'll try out some other scales later, but we're going to start with C, nice and easy. You can see that highlights the notes that are in the key of C major. And actually, if we click this scale button, it'll just hide everything that isn't C. So now we have our scale, we have our C's highlighted. That's where we're going to start. That's the root of our scale. And I'm going to write the simplest melody we have all ever heard. I know this is like some elementary school music teacher stuff, but just bear with me, please. So we have our melody. We have notes here, right? The most basic way of harmonizing any melody is what's called harmonizing in thirds. A third is the distance from one note to the note 3 notes up. And the way we count this is a little funny. We're going to count the first notes. So we have C, D, E, and we're going to place a note here. So now we have our first harmonized note. Let's take a listen. There we go. Let's harmonize out the rest of this line using that same counting. So really what we're doing is just skipping one of the notes in the scale, right? There we go. That is harmonizing a melody up a third. We can also harmonize down a third. So here's our melody, and we can go down to here. You can hear they both have kind of their own sound, right? And they're both perfectly usable options. Now, let's apply this to something in a real song. So I've got a little instrumental I've written over here. Nice, simple, funky little thing. And we are going to write a melody for this. We're going to start by switching our scale to the new key we're in. This is in the key of G major. So I'm going to, again, turn on scale, switch C over to G, giving us the right notes here. And then again, I'm just going to fold that down to just the scale. I'm clicking scale here, and that folds to only the notes in our scale. And I'm first going to write out the chords in this song. I know this is a G chord, a B minor chord, an E minor chord, and a D major chord. And you can see how a kind of intricate sounding beat like this really just boils down to 4 very simple chords, right? There's not much going on there. Keep it simple in your construction, and your song will fit together nicely. So, we have our chords there. I'm going to move them down an octave, get them out of the way so we can write some vocals. And what are we going to do? We are going to pick some chord tones from these chords to write a melody with. So our first chord, we have G, B, and D. And I'm going to write a simple little 8th note melody using mostly those notes. Nice simple little thing. Easy, nothing crazy. And we're just using the notes that are in each of these chords as like our main focus. Sometimes you'll see I'm breaking out of it, like there's no E in a B minor chord, but it's because I'm getting ready to get to that E in the next chord. This is called an anticipation. Same goes here. I'm playing this A a little early because I know it's going to hit there, and I can kind of get in early and get some bonus points with this note. I'm always focusing on those chord tones though. Let's just test out this melody before we even harmonize it. I'm going to copy these notes, and I'm going to paste them into, I have my longest solo ever chromatic here. We'll just put these right here. Let's take a listen. That works. That's nice. Let's go back and harmonize it now. Go back to our little sketchpad piano track here. And what's our rule for harmonizing? We're going to go a third up. So we're going to skip a note. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. And let's take a listen. Okay, that's not bad. That's a functioning harmony right there. There's one note that sounds a little funny to me. Can you tell what it is? Let's listen again. See if you listen for something that sounds just a little sour. Did you hear it? This. That sucks. I don't like that. Every once in a while, when you're harmonizing in thirds, there might be a note that doesn't work. And when that happens, it's usually because something clashes in the chords that are playing. Now, if we look at this, we have a C here in our harmony. And there is no C in the chord that we're currently harmonizing. Now remember, we're anticipating this next chord. There's no C there, right? There's an A. We're using a chord tone on an A, but this isn't a chord tone. It doesn't work. So what we're going to do is nudge this to the nearest chord tone. We're going to nudge it up. So now this is what's called a fourth harmony. It's a little bit bigger than a third. It's a little further away. But check it out. This is going to sound really nice. I'm going to slow it down so you can hear it. And that sounded nice, right? This fits with that. Much better than this did. So we're keeping that there. And what I'm going to do is just select this harmony line we've written. You don't have to do it like this where you write it all in one thing and then copy and paste it out. I'll show you another approach we can do in a second. That might be easier. There's all kinds of different workflows you can do for this. But let's take a listen to our harmonized vocal line now. I have longest solo ever singing this line. And boyfriend singing this line. Right? I'm going to pan the vocals left and right just a little bit so you can hear them clearly. This is a nice little touch you can do to help separate your vocals. Let's take a listen. Nice. Sounds good. Cool. So I showed you one workflow where we were kind of sketching it out here and then copied it over there. But that's a little tedious to select every one of those, I just realized. So here's something else you can do. Check this out. I'm going to say we just wrote our melody line, right? I'll get rid of boyfriend's part here for a second. Okay, say we just wrote our melody line in longest solo ever's track here. I'm going to copy all these. In fact, I'm just going to copy this whole clip, paste it into boyfriend's part. And now boyfriend has the same part, right? And what we can do is just move him up a little bit. So I'm going to take him from G. We know where we need to go, right? It's B. We need to skip over one. So I can just drag him up. I can even just hit the arrow key twice. And there we go. It just nudges him up. The only tricky part, it makes it a little trickier to diagnose this problem. this note we had earlier that we had to change. But you can hear it. Maybe you'd catch it and fix it. And there's how you harmonize in thirds with vocals. Now, I want to say that's not the only way you can harmonize. Thirds aren't the only interval you can harmonize at. There's other ones. Like I said earlier, you can harmonize a third down. Let's try that just as an experiment. We're back on my piano track here with the chords, and I'm going to write in a third below our melody. Let's take a listen to this one and see how well it works. Okay, some of that worked really well and some of it didn't. And I have a feeling it's going to be for the same reason that that one weird note didn't work in the other harmony we tried. Let's look around and see if there are chord tones in our harmony. Right away, I can see the problem in this harmony. We have our chord G, B, D, and our melody's fine, G, B, G, B, G, cool. But our harmony has an E in it, E, E, E. Well, I'm going to slow it down. It's going to sound just a little off, a little sour. That kind of sucks, this note. I'm going to move it to the nearest chord tone. That's D. There's one right here. Let's take a listen. And that sounds good. Let's keep moving on, keep catching stuff like that. Okay, here's a really tricky one. This C is not in this chord. It's not in our current chord, right? And it's not in the next chord. We could go up to D, but now there's no space between these two notes, and they sound like crap. You don't want notes that close. Notes should never be a second apart or closer than a third. So let's go the other direction. Let's go to a B, which is a chord tone, right? Which is weird, right? Now we have a note singing the same note 3 notes in a row, while our melody goes differently. What does that sound like? It sounds fine, right? I'm going to move all the C's in this measure to B's. That sounds pretty okay to me. I think maybe this last measure, we can move this B down to an A. But it doesn't sound that bad to me. Let's take a listen to that. That probably works. I think that sounds good. Let's take a listen. There we go. I think that's it. I think that's our harmony. So, again, I'm going to do the kind of tedious approach to this. Again, you could have written this in Boyfriend's part directly if you wanted. There's all kinds of approaches to this. As long as you're using these same concepts, it's all good. So I'm going to put this in Boyfriend's part. Now let's just hear the harmony between them. I think that works. Let's hear it in the song. Yeah, that works. Cool. Now, if you notice, Boyfriend is singing kind of low. There's something we could do to fix that. We can move Boyfriend's entire part up an octave. By the way, an octave is where you kind of wrap around the alphabet, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A again. And you repeat. That's an octave. That's the 8th note in the scale. Octa. That's why they call it an octave. Octaves basically don't affect harmony in most cases. So we can take this entire part and shift it up an octave, and now it sounds higher. And it sounds good. That's it. Cool. So that is a basic introduction to harmony. You can harmonize a third above, a third below. You can displace the harmony by octaves in either direction to get it into a range that sounds good for that character. And now you have kind of a simple, foolproof way to write harmonies. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Leave a comment down below in the description if you have a specific question, something you want me to cover here on the channel. And as always, thank you for watching.